Now the national anthem of the Republic of Kenya.
Well, a great good afternoon to you all, wherever you are watching us from. It is the second game of match day one of the Africa Rugby Cup 2024, coming to you live here on NBA Sport. John Vianney Simem going to be calling this game, and alongside me is Ruben Chihumuro. And right before us is Kenya in the green and the white shorts against Senegal. The much fancied Kenya will definitely come into this game as favorites. Two-time champions of the Africa Rugby Cup against a team that has been rising in leaps and bounds over the last few years. And as much as Kenya come into this game with 15 of the 23 that played at the last Africa Rugby Cup in France, that was in Marseille in 2022, they know that they have got all of it to do to try and turn over the Senegal side that has had some good history in recent past.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's a beautiful day, yeah, John Vian. But looking at, of course, the game and Senegal, who are preparing to kick off, they pose a very, very big challenge for Kenya. Last time these two teams met, the Senegalese came out with a close win, and I'm eager to see what is going to come out in this particular encounter.
Well, we definitely think that it's going to be an interesting one, especially when you look back at their recent history. You just pointed it out that Senegal beat Kenya in their last encounter, so they will definitely come into this game with the confidence that is needed to try and topple two-time champions, that is Kenya. Senegal prepare to get us underway here with Ken Demba, their fly half and captain, preparing to get us started here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium, a ground that is etched in history following one of the greatest heroes of African history, and that is the late Madiba Nelson Mandela. As we wait for the beginning of this game, it's all on cue, and yes, we are underway here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium, and that will seem like a knock-on there by Kenya right from the start. Shot number 14, Ashindu Lusambili, so it's going to be a scrum to the Senegalese, who have already forced Kenya into a mistake, quite uncharacteristic of Kenya, Ruben.
Yeah, I think it's just those early game nerves, but you see, when you're starting a game, you really want to start perfect, and that is not something that Kenya would want to be in, not a position you want to be in against a big forward pack like that Senegal has. So it's a very big challenge that now they have to dig themselves out of.
Yeah, definitely, and you look at the size of the Senegalese, and they're not going to be a pushover, Ruben, not the kind of team that maybe Kenya has easily run over in previous encounters.
Yeah, definitely. With these hot conditions and the big boys on both sides, expect a lot of collisions.
And of course, one thing that you pointed out is that, or something that we've actually learned, is that a number of these Senegalese players play their trade in France. So there's quite some experience that they come with playing at such a high level.
Yeah, definitely. All the way from their captain, Demba Ken, who plays for Union Saint-Denis in France. They have a plethora of players that really are in the position to use experience from Europe that they get to come and bring it here now to Africa and see if they can get a win in this particular quarterfinal encounter.
Of course, a bit of an issue there with the scrummage there, from what we see, and they've got to try and set it up again. Not to the satisfaction of the match referee this afternoon here.
Crouch.
Tells them to get themselves
Bind.
as they bind now.
Set. And steady. Keep it there.
And yes, the ball, of course, is set in by
Keep it
Ken
there.
Demba, the
Use
captain.
it.
This one is going to be a big test for the Senegalese to see how much they've improved on. And then there's a knock-on by the Senegalese. Ball picked up by the Kenyans.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic from both sides. Very dry conditions. You'd think it'd be
Yeah.
perfect for good handling skills, but
Exactly.
unfortunately both sides have made handling errors early in this game.
Yeah, quite surprising. And like you said, it's possibly the pressure that comes with the early minutes of the game, and that's definitely what they are feeling already.
Okay, let's go.
Or maybe also the anxiety to try and get an early, try in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Both teams are trying to size themselves up, also trying to make sure that they don't make as many errors as possible. But sometimes when you overthink it, that is when the mistakes actually come.
And now ball for the Kenyans to feed into the scrum there.
Bind.
Kenya in the green
Set.
and white
Keep it there.
shorts, if you're just joining us here. The ball is fed in. Kenya get it
Outside.
away
Hold in front.
and,
Nine. 8 stop. 8 stop. Thank you.
they play for territory, and again there was a knock on there by the Senegalese, but it's advantage to Kenya here. And that's on Somo Bogongo of Kenya, shot number 9, the scrum half. Doing a pretty good job there, moving the ball quite smoothly and quickly, and very good interplay there by the Kenyans, but then good pressure coming in from the Senegalese, and they forced the Kenyans out. And it will be ball to Kenya in the line out.
Yes, definitely advantage to Kenya. A good job to, of course, the Simbas for digging themselves out of bad territory in their own half. Now they have brought themselves in a very perfect opportunity for them to strike against Senegal. Can they be able to get this set piece right and attack is something that they're going to be very, very key on seeing how best they can execute.
But just how important, Ruben, do you think the set pieces are going to be in this kind of game? And we know that Kenya carries a lot of experience, but they've just lost that line out. And instead, the Senegalese give a good account of themselves and play for territory there. The captain there, Ken Demba, kicks out for territory, and it is going to be another line out here. The Senegalese on the bench, of course, taking in the heat as well. It's quite hot conditions, but I guess the perfect ones for rugby.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hydrating needed because the sun has really come out to play just like the rugby is being played. And yeah, the Senegalese are feeling it, as you could see there, but very important territory there.
And again, the line out is lost by Kenya, and the Senegalese pick it up. There's going to be a contest here as the Senegalese captain Ken Demba picks it up and finds his front row man, Mo Mamadou. And it's checked there. Then there's so whistle goes in favor of the Senegalese. It's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, definitely a penalty there. Eugene Sifuna being a culprit at the breakdown, and it's an opportunity for Senegal to perhaps get some early points in the game after a very high attritional game to start particularly.
It's a good opportunity at the start, Ruben, for Senegal. If they can get the 3 points on the board, it gives them that belief, especially when they look back at the fact that the last time that they met Kenya, they won.
Yeah, definitely. You see, these 3 points, the way they work is it might seem like it's just 3 points, but every time you keep adding to the tally, before you know it, you're 10 points ahead of the team. So it's very important for them to also see that they are getting those points early and getting to utilize their chances, because when Kenya comes back striking, also it won't be easy. So Senegal knows how important such opportunities are.
Senegal, shot number 13, and that's Ndiaye Mamadou with the opportunity to get the first points on the board. He's got a good opportunity to split the poles here for Senegal, take them into the lead. And the flag goes up. Yes, it is 3 points to Senegal. Good start for Senegal. Mamadou Shot number 13, Diaye, the right-sided center, doing the job.
Yeah, definitely one of those plying their trade in France, just getting the points, and I think his role is going to be very important in this team, especially when they need to get points as and when this game continues, because I have a feeling it's going to be a really, really tight one.
When you're ready then.
Yeah, we've already seen from the early exchanges, but maybe also just don't need to get ahead of ourselves. We felt that also Burkina Faso and Namibia started a bit tighter than many had expected, but at the end of the day, it was a 38-5. So maybe it's just the calm before the storm, and Kenya now trying to pile on the pressure. Some good interplay there coming in from, and then there's a big challenge there, I think, on a Senegal player. Yes, and that's Lanov Tony.
Yeah,
The lock has had his knee run into or something. He needs a bit of an ice pack to cool off the pain here.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a contest at the breakdown, and Kenya were trying to protect their ball, and in pushing him back, I think he twisted his ankle a little bit. We really hope it's not very serious, because we'd like to see the best players out there playing.
So it will be a scrum.
Well, seeing the whistle that went from the referee here, do you think that there's any penalty against a Kenyan player here?
I don't think there's anything cynical in it. I think it was a fair challenge. I just think it was a bit of an unfortunate landing.
Yeah, it's going to be a scrum down, according to the referee here, as Lano Tony, the lock of Senegal, has taken a bit of an early hit here, but I'm feeling that he'll be fine. I'm looking at the way he's walking. He's back on his feet, so it's going to be a scrum to Kenya. And the ball is already in the hands of Onsomo Bogongo of Kenya,
nothing changes.
the man with the dreadlocks.
Really good.
Yeah, Samson Onsomo coming back into the team after having taken a bit of a timeout, but he was part of that Kenya team in 2021 going into 2022 that was really dominant, that was led by Captain Davis Chenge at the time. He's one of the most senior players, and he's one of the vice captains of the team, of course, and his role in this particular game is going to be very, very important.
Yeah, of course, when it gets to the movement of the ball, and it seems to be a quick fly half, looking at rather scrum half. Already Senegal already pushing, and before the referee had allowed that to happen. A bit of side entry.
Oh yeah, that's just a bit of an early shove there, and they get the free kick for that.
So Kenya decide to pile on and not go for the easy points, and again gaining territory here.
Yeah, in that situation, it was a free kick, so they could not go for the 3 points. Yeah. But they could get the opportunity to scratch and play, which they have done there, and they're trying to pile on the pressure to see if they can get the try.
Yeah, and they're coming ever closer, but then the whistle goes, and it's going to be a ball to the Senegalese. According to, it's going to be a penalty against Kenya.
Yeah, definitely. Both sides have not been keeping their balls very well. So it's a bit unfortunate that Kenya had very good possession, and they have let Senegal off the hook, and now Senegal get a chance to have a kick. But unfortunately, even the kicker for Senegal did not really find very good territory. So it's still a bit 50-50, you could say, in opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be a line out for Senegal. A bit surprised to see how Kenya fumbled on the possession there. They're not the kind of team that makes so many mistakes, at least not at this kind of stage, against a team that is less acquainted at this level than them. And Senegal win the line out. That's brilliant play. And they do quite well on the rack there as they push Kenya back. That's some brilliant play coming in from the Senegalese. The less fancy team seem to be doing the job here.
Yeah, we talked about the physicality of the Senegalese, and it's coming to show really putting Kenya on the back foot. Surely we have not yet seen what Kenya has come out to play today, because they seem to be a little bit rattled, and you can see the momentum is what Senegal is now playing on, and they're really getting those opportunities, and they're really making the most of them.
Good play by Senegal against the captain, Ken Demba. Then they play for territory. Put Kenya a bit on the back foot. The ball is picked up by Kenya's young Barry Robinson, and the whistle goes. I guess there was an earlier infringement that the referee spotted.
Yes, it was. They were playing advantage there. I think there was an infringement, which we're yet to confirm. Yeah. Now he was trying to illegally rip the ball, but Ismail Beralda, they are trying to go for the 50-22 kick from his own half. And but unfortunately, since they did not get any advantage, they come back to the spot where the penalty should be taken, and that is why Senegal have possession.
Penalty to Senegal. You wonder whether they'll be going for poles here. No, they just decide to play for territory instead.
The distance was quite far.
Yeah, you need such a good kicker to take that ball from that distance into splitting the post. Ball back in the hands of the Senegalese shot number 9, Ken Demba. Just sidesteps a couple, and then again, good play there by Ndiaye, the man who got the first points, and Senegal just ripping through the hearts of this Kenyan defense line, and still they're held back, but still Senegal, and then the rack there, the Kenyans win it, and that's very good defensive play by the Kenyans. The Senegalese did not react fast enough, Ruben, and they lost the ball right there at the breakdown.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. They have very good break, but unfortunately the support runners who come to be there for the man that has broken the line, unfortunately,
are slow.
Did not come in time.
Yeah, that's very disappointing by the Senegalese, and this is a point that you feel that their coach will definitely be highlighting that. Kenyan
yeah, definitely.
Fan?
The Kenyan fan there, you can see the nerves.
Yeah, clearly, but I think still early days, so she'll take it in as it is. Many others have come down as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think predominantly mostly Ugandans. Who do you think Uganda would be supporting in this instance?
Well, I think they will be cheering for the Senegalese. They would really want their big rivals to be knocked out and not pose a big challenge. But of course, Uganda has a tough game coming up later in the day against Zimbabwe, who are another very formidable side. And now Kenya again, Robinson, splitting the lines here, Jakite Omela. And then at the breakdown, Kenya still have the ball, good play. And then there is an attempt to get the ball away. Kenya, their frontman, it is the hooker, that's Sefuna Wesonga. And then he finds Nyambua rather, or Diambo.
Yeah, that is George Nyambua, the captain, just getting some extra meters. But those loose passes there that are undoing all the hard work that Kenya has put in. But luckily enough, they were playing advantage. Yes, there was a bit of offside there, and it's a penalty. Interesting to see
in a good position.
What decisions are made in this particular situation. It's going to be interesting to see. Do they go for the penalty, or do they choose to go for the line out, or perhaps...
Well, it's interesting. I don't know. What would you do?
I'm a very pragmatic person, so I'd go for the penalty.
You would go for the penalty, yeah.
But they have gone for the line out. That means they want to go for and affect the maul and get the 5 points and hopefully the 7.
Yeah. Kenya are really very confident in their abilities that they turned down the opportunity to go for the penalty, and instead they go for the line out. Already they've lost 2 line outs. That's a bit of a risk that they are taking, Ruben.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, but they pick it up this time.
And they get it this time round. Let's see if they can effect them all confidently and diligently.
And they seem to be moving quite well here, pushing back the Senegalese. It's about to be a try here. I guess it should be yes. It is a try. Kenya make it 5 points here. And the try by shot number 12, Okoth Walter.
No, I think the try is by Captain George Nyambua, leading from the front. Of course, there they badly needed those points. They didn't seem to have control in this particular game, but great resolve in backing themselves, going for the line out instead of taking the 3 points. And now they were able to score the 5-pointer, and now let's see if they can be able to get the extra points.
And take it to 7-3. And it's shot number 15, Jakite Omela.
Yes, Timothy Omela there, getting an opportunity. You know, Kenya has always had that one very good kicker in their team to make sure that the points keep ticking in. Let's see if Timothy Omela fits the mold.
The conversion in very good sport, I must say. I think for a person that is as experienced as Timothy Jakite Omela, this should be easy pickings for him to take Kenya's lead to 7. That would be a 4-point gap that they would have created, and off the mark they will be. And he duly does, and that's 7-3. Kenya lead Senegal. The fight back is on, and Kenya show what they are made of.
Yeah, definitely. Timothy Omela there from the Menengai Oilers in Kenya, getting those extra points necessary, slicing the posts and getting a very, very accurate kick there to give Kenya the ascendancy.
Yeah, and of course, the kind of result that they hoped would be from the point when they decided not to go for the penalty and instead chose to go for the line out and pushing back the Senegalese forced the issue and they got those points. And there's a whistle here. Scrum to Kenya.
Yeah, the restart there didn't go past the 10-meter line, so it is just, it's going to be a scrum in favor of Kenya. Senegal, these small mistakes that they are making are going to have them punished. They are allowing Kenya to find their comfort and come back into this game. Senegal started well, but they seem to be losing the plot. But again, you said it's still very early, so anything can happen.
Well, I think that what normally happens, Ruben, in these kind of situations, it's the teams with the more experience that know how to recollect themselves, and Senegal is not such an experienced side at this level, so it is very easy for them to get into panic mode, like we're already seeing with the mistakes that they are making.
Yeah, definitely. The teams have been sizing themselves up at scrum time. No one has the clear advantage, but it's going to be a worthy contest in this particular game.
And Kenya have the ball again, fed in by Onsomo Bogongo. He picks it up again. Good play with his mate here, course Walter. Kenya breaking the lines quite swiftly. Good pass there, Bogongo. Scrum off. Good play. And instead, ball is picked up by the Senegalese, but not well enough. And again, it returns in the hands of the Kenyans here, who are continuing to pile pressure, breaking through the lines. And again, this time it is Omela. Good play at the rack there by the Kenyans, taking good control, gaining territory and getting ever closer to the try line. Senegal is trying their utmost, but then the Kenyans are very close. Shot number 6 getting there, Nyambua Otieno. And the Kenyans won't be stopped, they won't be denied, and it's another try. And this time it's by Sifuna Wesonga of Kenya, and already 12 points to Kenya. That was easy, Ruben.
Yeah, Kenya being very patient with their phases, moving from one side to the other, led by, of course, Captain George Nyambua, and just being able to burrow through there. That is Eugene Sifuna, the hooker. Started with a bit of an off-line out throw, but now he seems to have found his game.
Very, very easy that was, and for the Kenyan fans, a moment to celebrate here after another try is made by the man there was Songa Sifuna of Team Kenya, and another opportunity to add the extras for the man shot number 15, Ejakai Timothy Omela. Very easy spot this is, so should be an easy one to get those 2 extras and take Kenya's tally to 14 already.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to miss this one than to score.
And he does that. Oh. Well, it doesn't seem like he got that right, because the flag did not go up. Let's look at that. Yeah, it didn't. Can you imagine? He converted the harder one and then he misses what should have been the easier one.
Yeah, it's a case of the commentators' curse. Our apologies to all the Kenyan fans out there. Next time we shall not talk before.
It was harder to miss, like you said, and he proved you wrong.
I think he's listening to the comments.
Yeah. You get a feeling that's a bit of complacency in these kind of situations?
Yeah, we're seeing so many mistakes in this particular game. I mean, we just saw a missed conversion from just in between the posts, and now we're seeing a case of a quick restart, and then there was a player that was offside, and again, Senegal is giving out easy possession back to Kenya, even when Kenya gives possession back. So it's like no one wants to take control of this game at the moment.
Yeah, the Senegalese already seem rattled following the recent upsurge of the Kenyans' application here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Uganda, where we bringing you live Africa Rugby Championship here 8 nations battling for just the one trophy, but also the road to the 2027 World Cup begins right now. Now Kenya on the onslaught again, but then there's a knock on there by the Kenyans. They lose the ball to the Senegalese, and now it's
Onside.
a breakdown. And again, the Senegalese also handling errors keep creeping into their game. And now with a bit of persistence there from DB Diallo of Senegal. Now Ndiaye Mustafa. Berada Ismail, shot number 10, the fly half. Now the big man Tony Levon of Senegal. Good protection coming in from the Senegalese. They must be kicking for territory here, but instead it's a short kick here by the man who got them their only points of the game, Ndiaye Mamadou.
Yeah, just trying to be clever there with the chip kick, but unfortunately gives out possession yet again. There's been the story of this first half that Senegal has been giving out so much possession back to Kenya, and they have failed to leave their half because of that.
Well, would you understand why Mamadou Ndiaye played that short kick instead?
Sometimes you have to just be opportunistic, try to have the chip kick there, and if it bounces right, you could have the open gap to run into, but unfortunately, great coverage by the Kenyans there, who are able to get possession back and play. As we have a medical break here, one of the players down in a bit of agony, but I think even this gives them an opportunity to just have a bit of some water, because the conditions are really, really hot.
Yeah, you could see how Mamadou Ndiaye was in a chokehold here, held back by the Kenyans. Just didn't seem to find any way out here.
Yeah, not allowing him to dump his weight and force the ruck. And as you can see, possession now is back in Kenya's favor.
And again, they forced the issue here, and they forced the turnover. You thought that Senegalese had gained some bit of stability in that move, having kept the ball for a while. But then again, the pressure coming in from the Kenyans just forces them to lose the ball.
The one thing that Senegal is doing right is that they are being a bit physical, and they are really bossing in that regard. But when it comes to the follow-ups, the other intangibles, they are unable to keep possession well, and that's where Kenya has been having the upper hand, getting those turnovers and keeping them in their half, making sure that for every possession they get, they are not really getting so much out of it. So from the point when Senegal did score their first points, they have not had anything that has materialized ever since.
Especially when it comes to trying to get some movement on the ball, but also trying to break the lines. It's been quite a big test for the Senegalese. They just don't seem to find a way of breaking the Kenyan lines. Yeah,
I think also when it comes to the conditions, I know we're going to talk about conditions so much today, but the size of the Senegalese is going to also be a bit of a detriment to them, because big bodies like that, if they're not properly conditioned in this kind of weather, can really be a disadvantage to them. And the Kenyans, more used to the conditions in Uganda, and who are neighbors to them, it will be an advantage, you can say. I mean, they
compared to the Senegalese, many of whom play in France.
Yeah, definitely. Because look at it, Kenya didn't start particularly well, but they seem to be warming into the game now, and they are playing their processes, their structures are right, and now they're getting what they want. Senegal, on the other hand, is just giving away possession.
And again, Kenya breaking the lines of Court Walter, held back by the Senegalese, and they turn over the ball. That's brilliant play by the Senegalese. Kick for territory, but not by much. And then Ndiaye Mamadou, can he get just ahead of Robinson? But Robinson picks it up for Kenya, and now it's Omela making the run, but then he loses the ball. Senegal have a chance to run at the try line here and try and see if they can get a try, but then they lose the ball, and it is a knock-on again by Senegal. Just how many knock-ons are the Senegalese going to commit in this game? And you thought that was a very good opportunity for them to get to the try line.
Yet to confirm which player that was, but he stole the ball, and this is Demba Ken. I'm very surprised the scrum half could not have the legs to go all the way.
Yeah, that's true. And then also, shot number 14, the right winger, you would have thought that GB Diallo should have had the legs exactly to actually make that run up to the try line.
Oh, that was very, very...
But even his handling was a big letdown.
Yeah. I think it has been the story of the first half for Senegal especially. Handling has not been something good for them, and I'm sure the coaches are going to have to address that, because you cannot play rugby if you cannot hold the ball.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know whether it's an issue of just the pressure getting to them, or is it just the inexperience at this level? I guess it's a bit of both.
I think from my point of view, it's a bit of maybe the team not gelling as much, not knowing how the person next to you is playing.
Exactly.
Yes, as compared to Kenya, who have played together for a
long
bit,
time.
and they have a little more chemistry, I should say.
But then, you know, Ruben, one thing that is a bit surprising, many would have thought that the fact that Senegal Senegal has beaten Kenya before, they probably should have mastered their moves to know each other a lot better than what they're showing today.
But unfortunately, today is a new day and it's a new rugby game. Things can change, and Kenya is clearly showing that they have a reaction to that.
Yeah, exactly. Good tag there by the Senegalese, trying to hold back Kenya's onslaught here, not allowing them to make any significant progress. The ball slows down here, and I guess the slower the game, possibly the better for the Senegalese. With about 25 minutes played, about 15 to go to the end of this first half. Ball back in the hands of the Senegalese. Now they've got some real space ahead of them. Can they run to break the lines here? They're stopped right there. It is Sanya Sheikh. Gets the ball, is hoping to get some support, and it comes in from Ken Demba. But then the Kenyans are also coming in like a ton of bricks, getting onto the Senegalese, not allowing them to get much leg room or even space to maneuver. GBR. Senegal trying to get that inch of space to run to, but they just don't seem to be making any much headway. Ruben.
Yeah, their phases seem not to have really given them much ground, and they have decided to kick the ball away. But it's not the best of kicks, and it's a counter there by the Kenyans.
Ogeta Obia breaks the lines of Kenya for the first time that we're watching him. He's showing a lot of strength, showing a lot of physicality, and he's not going to be stopped. Wow. And he somersaults as he makes the try. That is such an incredible piece of play from Ogeta Obia of Team Kenya. Takes their tally to 17 as the celebrations continue here. Ruben.
Yeah, they are Bildad Oketa there, the Menengai Oilers, with a mazy run from one side to the other, and very, very suspect tackling there by the Senegalese. Poor defense. Is it a case of perhaps some fatigue now with all the heat? They are unable to stop him, and unfortunately, a game that was close at some point seems to be slipping away from the Senegalese.
Yeah, very easy for Kenya. Just look at that man, Ogeta Obia. You would think that he's a man made of 10 bodies, breaking through the lines, just unstoppable there for the Senegalese. And this is a point where you feel that maybe the Senegalese are easily capitulating.
Yeah, because when you look at it, sometimes it's about the decisions you make. Ismail Medad, the number 10 of Senegal, chose to kick on the open side. Sometimes you don't have enough defenders to cover that side instead of kicking on the shorter side. And because of that particular one, Ogeta was able to gather the ball and maze through the panicking defense. And it's very, very, depending on what side you're looking at it, it's either very joyful or it's very, very unfortunate. Yeah. And I'm sure the defense coach is going to be livid.
Absolutely. And Kenya conversion good by Omela. That is shot number 15, Omela Timothy Ejakite. 2 in, 1 missed for Ejakite Omela, as Kenya lead 19-3 here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Namboole, the newly refurbished Nelson Mandela Stadium in Namboole, hosting its first major international tournament in the Rugby Africa Championship here.
Yeah, of course, these two teams, Kenya and Senegal, World Rugby rankings at the moment, Kenya being 34th and Senegal being 61st. Yeah,
big difference.
Big difference. Last time Kenya featured, they had some very influential names like Darwin Mukitsa, who seems to have retired and let the younger boys do the thing.
Yeah, such a legend of Kenyan rugby, Darwin Mukitsa. And don't many Ugandans know him for his many battles against the Rugby Cranes.
Yeah, familiar for.
Right now it is Senegalese again. And the penalty to Kenya. I guess not releasing the ball by the Senegalese.
Not releasing the ball there. But yet again, it has it has been the story of this particular first half. Senegal unable to protect their ball, Senegal unable to secure their ball, and always giving possession back to the Kenyans.
And they play for territory here. Young Barry Robinson kicks out. So it's going to be a line out for Team Kenya.
Yeah, good touch found there by Barry Robinson. They have made it a point to play territory very well and pin Senegal in their half. Senegal also not doing themselves any favors, unable to string a couple of phases, unable to protect their ball, and for those that have played the game, they know that it is very hard to defend. You'd rather have the ball in hand and play with it than actually defend.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what the Kenyans are doing. As they but that will be a knock-on this time by the Kenyans. So it's a bit of relief for the Senegalese.
But you can see, even when you just look close, the big second row there, shot number 5, he seems very, very exhausted already. That's Tony Levin. Yeah. Very exhausted already in the conditions. And you look at the difference between the body language. When you look at Kenya, they are all standing upright. When you look at the Senegalese, they're all holding their knees.
Yeah, exactly. Showing fatigue already. And this is just the first half where they trail 19-3.
Yeah, very unfortunate knock-on there. That could have perhaps given Kenya more ascendancy. But you can see a bit of a team talk there between the forwards of the Kenyans, perhaps working out a strategy of what they should do next. You think this would be a perfect opportunity for the Senegalese coaching team to perhaps send one of the water boys with something like a strategy that, guys, this is what we need to do to regroup.
Yeah, exactly, because they seem to be all over the place right now, especially when responsibility of defending comes into play. They just don't seem to know exactly what to do to stop the Kenyan onslaught here.
Fans have started walking in from their other endeavors, and it's going to be a colorful day, very many different jerseys and very many different cultures, all here at Mandela National Stadium.
Yeah, of course, right after this one at 2 p.m. we have Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire, and then at 4 it is the host Uganda taking on Zimbabwe. That should be a very, very big game of rugby, and a tough one at that.
Yeah, it has been having quite the build-up throughout the week, and the Zimbabweans bank on themselves, but also the Ugandans know that they have to protect home turf.
Yeah, the last time they met back in 2018 at I think it was Legends.
Yeah,
Zimbabwe winning that one.
Zimbabwe has won the last 2 meetings, last 2 recent meetings, so Uganda will want to right that wrong.
Yeah, definitely. They have every reason to be motivated to try and right the wrongs of the recent games that they've faced off. But before we're going to do this one, we still have a matter of Kenya and Senegal. Not that there is much of a contest from what we're seeing. 30 minutes played, and it is 19-3. Kenyans lead.
Boys, numbers.
Mamadou Ndiaye has taken on the role of kicking. We're seeing he's the one going for touch as well. I don't know if it's a bit of a better kicker choice, or Ismail Beralda, the number 10, has just chosen to defer.
And then Kenya wins the line out of the Senegalese throw. Kenya again building up smoothly here as they continue to get ever closer to the try line here. Again, ball in hand, Kenyans keep it. As it's well picked out there by Onosu Bogongo.
Onside, onside.
Good play there at the breakdown by the Kenyans. Omela. He finds Nyambua Otieno, the captain.
Onside.
Kenyans patiently building up here.
Yeah, Samson Onsomu there.
And
just
there's
moving
a
the
knock
ball.
on there.
Very, very unfortunate. I was just about to sing praises of Samson Onsomu, number 9, who was moving the ball from one side to the other, making sure that the structure of the Kenyans is working. But unfortunately, I think our curses are really
yeah, that's true. And once the ball got into the hands of Sifuna Wesonga, that's where the ball was dropped.
This your mark, boys. Come on then, we can't be going down at every scrum.
Senegalese
I know it's hot.
with 9 minutes to defend in this first half. Must be playing for time now, because they will definitely need to regroup here, as they've got the scrum in their favor.
Crouch!
Yeah, earlier on in the week, they did talk about their intent to want to win the Rugby Africa Cup.
That's the Senegalese.
Yes, they need to show a lot more now on the pitch. Sometimes you need to back up your words.
Yeah, with your action. The ball is picked up well by Ken Demba. Finds Ismail Berada. Good play there by Ndiaye. Man was shot number 13 who scored their only points of the game. Again, trying to gain some bit of territory there, breaking the lines. I think one of the best phases, Lanov Tony of Senegal. They're trying to find spaces, but the Kenyans won't allow them. It's quite a watertight defense line that the Kenyans have set up.
Yeah, tight-knit drift defense there by the Kenyans. And you could see the Senegalese are losing ideas on how to penetrate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see them really cold when they pick the ball and they're looking and staring at the Kenyans, and they just don't seem to find any gap. Come on, can they break it down this time as GB gets the ball and makes a run into Demba Ken. This time it is Kadim Sise and it's pushed out, and would it be a Kenyan ball?
Yeah, it's banded into touch, but we want to see who was the last person with the ball.
I think it's for Senegal.
Yeah,
Senegal, the line
advantage out. Senegal, yeah.
They'll feel pleased by this endeavor, at least this particular time, the Senegalese, don't you think?
Yeah, at least that's a little bit encouraging. They've been able to get some few phases strong, and now they have a line out to show. Can they be able to win their set piece and then also continue to build the platform from there, perhaps end the first half on a high?
They still seem to be suffering from some bit of niggles here, the Senegalese, as medical treatment is called on. About 6.5 minutes left to play in this first half. Well, you've got to really, give credit to the fans that are braving this scorching sun here.
Yeah, definitely.
Just tells you the love for rugby in this country.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the fans there, and also even the teams from the other countries. They are just observing other teams that are playing.
But they hit rather than Namibian players.
Namibia. They are done for their day. They are now just enjoying rugby as well.
Waiting for Wednesday.
Waiting for Wednesday at Wankulukuku. Very, very important. Yeah, but Kenya and Senegal. These teams in the last 3 meetings on July 3rd, 2021 at the Nyayo National Stadium. That was a game that ended 2019 in favor of Senegal. And 15th July 2017, that was a game that Kenya won 45-25, and then 22-7, that was in 2009. So it's a 2-1 advantage for Kenya, but the most recent result was a win for Senegal.
Yeah. So that just tells you that the improvements that have made, although we are yet to see much of that in this game this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely.
Interestingly, Namibia are now waiting for the winner between Uganda and Zimbabwe.
Yeah, as of course
the semi-finals.
The tournament tree is in that way. In the path of Namibia is either Uganda or Zimbabwe. Who play later on today. Namibia have already done their job dispatching Burkina Faso. Of course, there will be placement games as well. The last team amongst these competing sides is going to be relegated from the top tier. So it's very important for a team to win their placements even if they have lost out on the quarterfinal.
Very crucial it is for every game that you play, avoiding the tail here, like you pointed out, Ruben, is saving you from the drop.
And of course, even the finish in this particular tournament contributes to how you're going to be ranked and fixtured next year, you should say, because next year is a Rugby World Cup qualification year. So everything you do from this point contributes to how you're going to be able to have a chance to make it to the 2027 Rugby World Cup.
So that's what makes these games quite critical for whichever country is taking part in the Africa Rugby Cup here in Kampala at the Nelson Mandela Stadium. And it's a scrum for Kenya. Somo Bogongo feeds the ball, but then the whistle goes again. The hand signal shows that there is a penalty.
Yeah, it's a penalty. A bit of an infringement on the scrum there by Kenya. Some fortune now in Senegal's favor. They hadn't been getting a lot of those calls because of their own making. But now they have a penalty. So it's decisions. What does Mamadou Ndiaye do? And he chooses to go for the line out. Maybe perhaps trying to see if they can get good territory and use their bigger size to be able to barrel through and maybe get a 5-pointer. The only challenge here is that Senegal has not been able to win its lineouts.
Yeah, of course, they won a couple at the beginning of the Kenyan throw, but since then it's been Kenya with the advantage each time that the ball has been thrown in. Now it's going to be a big test for the Senegalese. They're not so far away from the try line. That should be encouraging for them to try and see if they can get to the 8-point mark.
Yeah, good touch there by Mamadou Ndiaye, really putting them close to the try line.
And they do the job there. Good play. As of course, Ndiaye Mustafa picks it up. They are hooker. But then it's pushed back by the Kenyans. They still have quite some ground to cover here. As the ball's picked up by Lanov. Still maintains it. And again, the forwards doing a good job here. That is Mo Mamadou pushing the Kenyans back for the Senegalese. Can they get a try before the end of the first half? It will be encouraging for the West Africans. And again, they are continuing to burrow through. They're getting closer. Berada with a very good fake there and breaks a bit of the lines here of the Kenyans. The Kenyans still holding their ground here. The Senegalese keep coming. Lanov Tony. Again, now, Ndiaye Mustafa. The scrum half is nearby, and that is Ken Demba. Always picking up the ball, but then the whistle goes earlier infringement.
Yes, they were playing advantage, and the referee has deemed it that they have not been able to gain any advantage. So they go back to the position of the infringement, of the earlier infringement, and you can see the referee having a conversation with Captain Demba Ken on what position, because there are two infringements particularly they can choose from, and you can see the tenseness of the bench as well.
Yeah, from the Senegalese.
Yeah. But decision time, I mean, what do you do? Do you go for the points? Do you go for another line out?
Well, that's a hard one, by the way, especially as far as the Senegalese are concerned.
Yeah, the hooter, so that is probably last play of the first half. And they have chosen to go for the line out, so this is probably their last chance to get any points in this first half.
Would you take the risk? Go for the line out? Pick and drive and all that?
Personally, I think I would go for the points. Put some points on board to at least try and change the mindset and the momentum, because the momentum has really been going against them.
Well, let's see whether their decision was the right one. And the line out there by Ndiaye Mustafa to throw the ball in. Can they win this battle here at this point? Yes, they get it. And that's very good play by the Senegalese. And they are doing well at the maul here, trying to push back with the Kenyans, but the Kenyans are resisting, and then they pick it up. Good play there by Mo Mamadou, shot number 3. They still have the ball, the Senegalese. They're going close, and what is it going to be? Not yet. The whistle is yet to go. As they're coming ever closer, Senegalese pushing through, forcing the issue here. The Kenyans resisting, holding their own. The referee watching keenly to see how play develops here. And then there's a knock on here by the Senegalese. Shot number 12, Damfaka Sheiku, at a very, very critical time. He probably wants the us to open up and swallow him here.
And you can see his emotions. He knows he has let his team down at that moment. One of the more experienced players in the team. Interesting to note about Damfaka, he is...
Oh, my word.
Oh, but that's also credit to the defense there, the rush defense, not giving him time to settle on the ball. That was very, very, very interesting.
Adaka Agesa of Kenya, shot number 13, doing a good job to really unsettle the Senegalese. Shot number 12, Damfaka Sheiku, and you can see what it means to the Senegalese. They are really distraught, because that should have been 8 points now, possibly hoping, because it was close, they could have had a kick in and maybe taken them to 10.
Yeah, definitely. But interestingly to note is Damfaka Sheiku was listed in the Senegalese team as a flanker, as a forward, but he has been put into the backline because of his ball carrying ability, and that was one of the positions where they needed him, but unfortunately he was unable to hold on to the ball. Interestingly, however, I think Senegal yet again was playing advantage, and it's another opportunity for them to have another line out and see if they can do the same thing. For now, Kenya has a very great defensive resolve, but can they hold on for much longer?
Well, there's not much time to play here. The Senegalese trying to get the ball onto the ground there. Yes, it is a try. And I think it's a penalty try or something. Yes, a yellow card is shown to the Kenyan.
Yep.
It's a penalty try. So those are 7 points to Senegal.
Illegally trying to take down that more, but great resilience by the Senegalese as we go into halftime. Of course, getting that penalty try, remember you don't convert the penalty try, it's a full 7 points, so that's a good way for the Senegalese to end after a very, very tough first half.
But Ruben, we need confirmation on who has been shown the yellow card, and I think that's something that we need to get at this point as we take that break. What has been an interesting game of rugby. Senegal starting off well with the first points, but then Kenya, the more experienced two-time African champions, coming back, stuck raving mad, and getting some really good quick tries. And as they go into that halftime break, even with the yellow card, meaning that they'll begin the second half with 14 players, that is the Kenyans, they lead 19-10. And we hope you're enjoying this Africa Rugby Championship. Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. It's John Vianney Simbe and Ruben Kihumuro in the commentary.
This way to get it is now by the match officials. And ask about fans on a very good microphone. Miles in a good.
Welcome back to the Nelson Mandela Stadium here in Namboole. It is the Rugby Afrique Championship. Kenya against Senegal. Kenya leading at halftime 19-10 in what has been quite an entertaining game of rugby. Full of mistakes, by the way, on either side, but more on the side of Senegal in the red as we get underway here for the second half. John Vianney Simbe calling this game, and alongside me is Ruben Kihumuro. Ruben, looking at how the first half ended, of course, Kenya begin the second half with the 14 players following that sin bin after a yellow card was shown to one of their players at the end of the first half. Just how do you think they're going to approach the game in the second half?
Definitely, they have to be defensively tighter, and they have to just capitalize as and when the opportunity comes. And as you can see there, a turnover yet again, a bit ambitious by the Senegalese to go all out, but unfortunately one of their ball carriers gets isolated in that regard, and Kenya yet again
forced a turnover.
Yeah.
And it's a penalty.
Senegal need to be aware that in this period when Kenya has 14 men, they need to make it count numerically, especially with the territory and then getting the points on board. And they can't afford to give the ball away like that. As we are seeing, it's likely that the Kenyans are going for points. Timothy Omela.
Very interesting turn of events, especially when you consider that when a team is numerically disadvantaged, there would be a bit on the back foot, but that's not what we're seeing from the Kenyans. Yeah,
of course, seeing that the score is 19-10, Kenya is very well aware that they need to keep the scoreboard ticking, extend that lead, make sure that it is beyond 2 converted tries in a gap.
Yeah.
It is something that is very, very important, not giving Senegalese any chance, any sniffing chance to think that they can get the victory.
I know. And with the experience, I'm sure that the Kenyans will try and make sure that they capitalize on that. Well, they missed the penalty. And that is Omela. Timothy misses another very good opportunity. I thought that that ball was quite central and should have been an easy one for him to just split the poles.
Yeah, that's 2 out of 4 from Omela now. 2 converted, unfortunately 2 missed. 50% there. It's a pass, but it's not really the better result. As we are seeing, of course, yet another player who's at shirt number 11 who's injured.
Yeah, for the Senegalese, and that's
interestingly,
Sana Sheikh.
We did talk about the Senegalese being the bigger and the more physical, but they seem to be the ones getting injured more.
Yeah, I guess like you pointed out, sometimes the conditioning is important, especially for the conditions in which they are playing. May not be the easiest stuff for them to really make it through, as opposed to the Kenyans who are right within the same level of conditions. And good run there coming in now from Kenya's Ogeta Obia. Scored one of the tries, an easy one in the first half. And then the kick for territory. Kenyans put on the pressure, and just look at that pressure just being put on there, and the Senegalese decide to kick out too. You don't want any action to be played in their area. The Kenyans pick it up again. Somela, they converted twice with 2 good kicks and missed 2, unfortunately. Kenyans keep it on. Bongongo, good sharing of the ball by the Kenyans here, and it's now shot number 6 Nyambua, the captain Otieno. Bongongo picks it up now for the prop, shot number 1, Odu Buire. Good sharing, the Kenyans breaking lines and continuing to dominate here. And it's now Adaka Gesa. Good space here for the Kenyans. And the whistle goes. Apparently there was an earlier infringement.
Forward pass there, and the final pass to the winger. But they are going back to the advantage still. I think it was offside, so that is a bit of a relief for Kenya.
So penalty, are they going to go?
Penalty. So it's going to be interesting to see what decision George Namboole and the rest of the captaincy of the team go for. They have had a 50% success rate at kicking at goal, but they choose to go for line out this time round.
So they want to really pick the ball and push for a try. You know, that's the unfortunate bit for the Senegalese. I'm sure they felt that after Kenya's forward pass, that got the advantage. But then the offside that they committed earlier on has cost them. And now the Kenyans with a good line out, can they push here in the mall And they seem to be doing exactly that. These are the kind of moments where the Kenyans normally give their best, and they've come very close. And are they over the try line here? The referee looking critically to see whether that ball is not hanging.
Patient play there by the Kenyans.
They really miss from this range, Ruben.
The forwards with the pick and drive. Usually in such situations, the forwards say, backs, leave this to us.
Yeah.
Do not come into our game.
Exactly. So you're not going to see Bongongo going in. And then the hooker there, that is Sefuna Wasonga, gets the ball to shot number 13. Can he get over the line? And yes, he does. That is Adaka Gesa. Gets his name on the score sheet, the Kenyan. Remember, at the tail end of the first half, he made that timely tackle on the Senegalese shot number 12. Namfaka to stop what should have been an easy try for the Senegalese, and now the Kenyans have extended their lead. Ruben.
Yeah, Bryson Adaka seeming to come out on top in this contest at center. Yet again, this time round, he's the one with the ball, and Bryson Adaka is unable, Damfaka is unable to
stop him.
To stop him, rather.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting there. But the man from Cabra Sugar there, Bryson Adaka with a big carry there. Two big men colliding, and the Kenyan wins it.
And that is 26 for the Kenyans. They've actually converted at the same time. That should definitely have been an easy one. Very easy play. After picking up the try very near the poles, it was inevitably going to be an easy one for Omela, and he did exactly that. That's 4 kicks.
Those are
5 kicks.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Not a bad return.
Not bad.
Yeah. Although I'm sure the Kenyans will feel that maybe he should have done better, because the ones he missed, many felt that he should never have missed.
Yeah, definitely.
Now it is 26 to the Kenyans, and it is 10 to the Senegalese. 26-10 it is. Senegal trying to get some momentum here, breaking, and then again they lose the ball. That is Ndiaye Mustafa, the hooker.
Senegal is trying to play the offload game, the quick offload game, but unfortunately they don't have the handling and the fitness for it. They are rushing plays when they should. The support play is coming late, and it's trying to get the ball in a panic sense, and it has just been to their detriment. They have not been able to string more than 3 passes, or more than 3 phases, I should say. And it's something that I thought maybe would have been addressed at halftime, but we are seeing some changes coming on. Perhaps maybe the new people that are coming on can bring some new mentality into the team.
Yes, how do they change it around, Ruben, for you? If you are the coach of the Senegalese, how do you tell them to approach this game to try and gain a bit of advantage in the game?
I think it's really about just regaining composure, trying to slow down the game. Don't try to play very quick game.
Yeah.
Just slow down and build the phases. They are bigger boys. They can be able to get over the gain line, and from there they can create opportunities. But you can't play if you do not have the rugby ball.
Interesting it is, but they've got the ball into Kenyan territory here as they continue to plan on what next year. Seems to be some treatment going on here on a Senegalese player. And that is shot number 6. That's Sila Lamin.
Yeah, the Kenya lineup, the starting 15 is really full of Kenya Cup champions, Cabra Sugar RFC rugby players. So you could say there's a lot of winning DNA in their team. Even when things aren't going right, they know how to perhaps get the result.
Well, I think also it's important when you get players that play together quite often at club level, it makes it very easy for you to build the cohesion that you need, especially at this kind of level. Because you see, game understanding is very important for any team.
And I think what you've said is actually very important, because we have talked about the 15 of Kenya having many of the Cabra Sugar players who are the champions. So there's a bit of chemistry there. And we talked about the Senegalese having predominantly French-based players, but how often have they played together? That could be a very big factor.
Exactly. At least over the last 2 years since the Rugby Afrique that was played in Marseille. As they lose the line out, interestingly, the Senegalese.
Stay!
And Kenyans kick for territory, and that is young Barry Robinson Takes the ball in two touch, so it's going to be another line out for the Senegalese, whose body language does not really ooze a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And with the Kenyans extending their lead with the 14 men, because they've got one of their players was sin bin. With 10 minutes out, that means that you probably should be back in about the next 3 minutes or so.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think the coaching team of the Senegalese needs to maybe perhaps bring in some more changes. Maybe a bit of freshness in mind and also in body will be very, very important in seeing if they can change their fortunes.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that you feel has taken quite a bit of time. I don't know whether he just trusts the players that he started with, and he feels that they are the better players. And right here at the breakdown, the Senegalese, as hand goes up for a penalty.
Yeah, infringement there at the rock, and it's an opportunity for Senegal to perhaps ascend. And yes, again, they're going for the line out. They have chosen the line out as their weapon of execution. Sometimes it has let them down.
For the points.
Yes, sometimes it has let them down. Sometimes it has worked. Let us see if this time it's going to work.
Well, they insisted on it at the tail end of the first half. Remember the last play of the first half, they insisted on the line out, and they got the penalty try.
Yeah, definitely. I think what the advantage that the Mole gives them is that in these conditions, and we have clearly seen Kenya is a better conditioned side, that it does not allow the luxury of Kenya to be able to run. So once you keep the ball amongst your people and you're able to maul it, the bigger size comes into play for the Senegalese, as you can see.
Senegal trying to gain a bit of advantage here. And then there's a bit of loose passing here. Kenya piling on the pressure, pushing back the Senegalese, and the territory that they had gained seems to have been lost as one of the latest changes is number 16, Kaba Sise, front row man, coming in for Team Senegal with the headband there, and then the whistle goes.
Last play of the first half, we conceded 3 penalties in the 22. We now come down 10 minutes in the second half. We conceded 2 penalties in the 20.
Yeah, that's a warning from the referee to the captain about his team's penalty count and the indiscipline. So many penalties considered by Kenya, and they are telling them that perhaps the next time something like that happens, there could be a case of another yellow card, and the captain now has the responsibility of making sure that he tells his team that they need to change their ways.
Kenyans will definitely have to regroup now that the Senegalese are getting closer and closer. Of course, it's already 2 changes made by the Senegalese at the front row. The brought on shot number 18, Dieye Abdou.
Match number 2 of game day 1.
And of course, the man with the headband there, shot number 16, Kaba Sise. Coming on for
the BBL 1
shot number 2, coming on for the hooker who started at Diaye Mustafa. It's going to be a scrum down here.
Next game will be between Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire.
Senegal
which will be followed by
can see the line, but can they get over it and try and reduce on the deficit? 16 points they are led by, such a huge lead that they still need to eat up on to get close to the Kenyans, as they are doing quite well there. And there is the moving of the Kenyan forward line, and it's going to be a penalty.
Yet again, yeah, that's a bit of wheeling, but the Kenyans yet again conceding another penalty. It's just something that the referee warned the captain about. Yeah. I would not be surprised if we see another yellow card.
Yeah, true. Because that's the third offense in their 22.
Let's go again then.
They need to keep their scrum in position, as opposed to just like Ruben just pointed out, it keeps wheeling away.
Yes, definitely, and I'm sure the referee is going to be heavily observing this one to see if there is any particular infringement, especially on the front rows.
Oh, it collapses.
Yeah, a bit of tired bodies there
Or
now.
does it collapse on the Kenyan side or the Senegalese side?
Sometimes it's a mutual endeavor. So in that case, the referee has to go for the
You must
reset.
take the hit. Don't step back.
Seems to be telling them
Same
not to
mark.
step back. I guess it's telling the tight head. Now, a bit interesting. According to the lineup given to us by the Senegalese, shot number 18 is supposed to be a front row player. But when you look at where he's positioned, he's actually a winger.
I think it is because we saw one of the earlier winger getting injured and getting off. And so the coaches at some point have to improvise. Another penalty.
Against Kenya.
Yeah, collapsing of the scrum here by Kenya. And those are, as the referee communicated, in the last minutes of the first half, 3 penalties conceded. Now in the second half, 4 penalties conceded in just these few minutes. So it is really, really worrying how the Kenyans have said their second half. Yes, they have scored a try, but...
Actually, it appears like the prop of Kenya was is the one that was sin bin, shot number 1. And now they've got the captain instead, and that is Namboole Stadium, doing the job of a prop on the front row. So I don't know whether that could be the reason why their front row is collapsing, because that's what it appeared like. It was. Now they've changed.
Not necessarily. In such instances, the team usually brings on a specialist scrummager of the front row, and then they, as you can see, one of the flankers has been taken off, so they are scrumming with 7 men instead of 8, and George Namboole is on the open side. But yet again,
Collapses. Yellow card.
Yeah, he has had enough.
Side entry.
No, still collapse infringement at the ruck. We yet just to confirm which infringement it is. But that's a yellow card, like we said. It has been really persistent, and this is Ephraim Oduo, plays for Cabra Sugar. Yes, yet again, he also gets a yellow card. So I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, Kenya is down to 13.
Well, yeah, 13 now. I guess it's time for the player that was yellow carded at the tail end of the first half to return.
For them to have all this dominance and not have any points for it is something that is not productive for them.
Yeah, exactly. But then, looking at the clock, it's actually 15 minutes played in the second half. So the player that was yellow carded should be back now. Now they've actually brought in a specialized prop.
Like I mentioned earlier on, of course.
One
of those specialist numbers is the front row. And you have to make sure it is people that are used to playing there that have to play there. So you, in such situations, you improvise, sacrifice one player for the meantime, and then bring on a scrummager.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what they've done. It is 16 minutes. So these 10 minutes of suspension are up.
Perhaps the referees have a different timer, and theirs is the one that we are going with.
Well, it's another scrummage where Kenya are on the back foot. But then, like Ruben pointed out, somehow Senegal is not taking advantage. Kenya back and they're wheeling away again. This time, Senegal seem to be gaining the advantage here. Now the scrummage has broken up, and then it's a try for Senegal, and it pays up. Finally, Senegal on 15. They've got a chance for the extras here, the conversion, if they can take it well. And let's look at that replay and see the player who actually got that up. And that was shot number 6. That is Sila Lamin, Senegal. Now the responsibility goes to Diaye for the extras.
I want to trust Diaye to put in the extras, but this has been definitely coming. The Kenyans seem to have, with the numerical disadvantage, and of course in the scrum they had to let one person go so that they can be able to play with, to scrum with 7. It has really been a disadvantage to them, and the Senegalese have made them pay, and finally they get some points on board for it. Perhaps we still have a game on our hands, and it's important that You know, one of the things that really fascinates me is how we have been talking about conditioning and everything, and how the Senegalese seem like they're struggling, but the game is still very, very close.
Yeah, very alive, I must say. Actually, it's now 59 minutes. That means that we still have approximately 20 or so minutes to play. So there's still enough time, and the polls are split there by Ndiaye of Senegal. Oh, did he? Yes, he did. And that is 17 Senegal, while Kenya are on 26, 9-point game.
Yes, definitely there. Senegal still showing their intent, and despite the conditions and how hot it is, I think this is the point when the coaches need to ring in some changes, especially with the backs, and maybe just getting some fresh ideas. I think there's a bit... yes, the referee had to just get something changed.
Kenya back to 14 players. You know, the interesting thing, I look back at the Rugby World Cup final where New Zealand had 14 players against South Africa's 15, but then the 14 of New Zealand really put South Africa under a lot of pressure, unbelievable pressure. I guess it just tells you how much quality that they have there in. Senegal turn over the ball this time. They clear their lines, but it's going to be a line out for Team Kenya, but then it seems like there was an infringement.
No, I think that is a case of the person passing the ball from the ruck was outside the 22-meter line and passes it back inside, and because of the pressure, Mamadou Ndiaye kicks it straight out into touch, which means they go back to that position where he kicked the ball from, and it is advantage to the opposition, who is Kenya in this case.
Good line out by Kenya's hooker there, Sifuna Wesonga. Kenya will need, I guess, to really cool the pressure that had been piled on them by the Senegalese. Bongonga. Kenya continuing to gain some bit of territory there, getting more, and as they continue to play in the 22 of the Senegalese. There is Sifuna again.
Advantage there to Kenya. They're looking to go for a drop goal, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what is attempted there by young Robinson, but then the whistle goes for a penalty to Kenya.
Yeah, a bit of inexperience there by Barry Robson. Really looking at the way he set up for that drop goal, he wasn't deep in the pocket enough, and he allowed the oncoming people to really rush on him easily, which made him really skew the kick like that.
Yeah, exactly. You could see that it was a kick taken under immense pressure, and it did not get the right trajectory on it. But then there is an injury here suffered by Senegal's prop. That is the tight head, Mo Mamadou, shot number 3.
There's one of those unspoken rugby rules sometimes where perhaps, as you can see, they're going to line up the penalty, but I was still telling you that sometimes in rugby when perhaps the pressure is too much or the players are tired, one of them has to perhaps seek medical attention for whatever niggle they can get so that the rest can have a breather.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be one of those tactics, who knows? But in this case, we're not trying to negate the fact that he could be really hurt as Kenya are putting the points.
Yeah, now that is Kenya's kick taken by shot number 10, young Barry Robinson. Doesn't seem to count here. He misses it, and it remains 26-17. We didn't see a hand signal from the referees here. Senegal gets us underway again. Kenya must feel a bit of relief now that they're playing more in Senegal's territory.
Oh, that's a very, very brilliant kick. It's a 50-22 by the Kenyans. Very, very good touch finder. Perfect opportunity there. I mean, we were earlier talking about about this surface and how the ball bounces on it. But you can see the winger, or the makeshift winger, I should say.
Steps on the line.
Yeah, but he was a little too late because of the way the ball just skews off the surface and just continues to go.
Now Kenya with the line out. 63 minutes played, and that means we have approximately 16 minutes to go to the end of the second game of match day 1.
Yes, definitely.
By Kenya. And now they've got an opportunity at the mall to try and push back the Senegalese, but the Senegalese don't seem to be ready to lose their footing here and trying to size the ball and swing it and share it. Good play by Kenya, but then they seemingly lose it momentarily. But is that a side ball? Almost a knock on, it appears. Yes.
Yeah.
Kenya knocked that one on, so it's going to be a scrummage here.
Yeah, a bit of disorganization there by Kenya, perhaps being on different wavelengths. But Senegal get that opportunity now to get out of their half. And as you can see, with any opportunity, there are communications coming on, and perhaps there's also a need of change of boots for some of the players, as we're seeing some of the activity on the sidelines.
You think that the ground is proving a bit slippery for the boots that they are wearing?
Yeah, like you can see, they're trying to get someone to have boots. Sometimes the kind of studs you may bring on are not the ones that may be sufficient for the grounds. And we have seen that stability has been very important. And interestingly, I think the player has objected to the change. The water boy / waterman is really having quite a busy day.
29-19, Kenya lead. But I'm sure that wherever you're watching this game from, especially for the Kenyan fans, it is not yet very comfortable despite that 10-point lead that they have. Because just 2 tries and parity has been restored. So, and seeing the way the Senegalese side has been applying itself, especially in the second half, you can't rule them out.
Yes, definitely, you can't rule them out, although Kenya's head coach, Jerome Powata, was very confident that his boys can get the job done. Despite some notable absentees in the team, look, one of them being Joel Nzuga, who was a top try scorer last year here in Uganda at Kings Park Arena with the Victoria Cup. Yeah. He's not part of this squad, and of course the injured talisman, John Kubu, who was also unavailable. It would have been very exciting to see him in action, but it gives some other players... Yeah, it gives some other players the opportunity to play. Perhaps Barry Robinson, this is his opportunity to show his stuff to the coaches.
Yeah, John Kubu is such a flamboyant halfback, and definitely one that you feel the Kenyan team has missed because of the kind of guile that he adds to the team. He's quite a joy to watch.
Yeah, worth every penny.
Yeah, definitely. But like you just pointed out, it's an opportunity for young Barry Robinson to actually showcase, although we have not really seen him into his real element yet.
Yeah, he has focused on just trying to move the ball around, but most of the control or the dictating of play has been done by the scrum half, Samson Onsomu.
Yeah.
Of course, he's a man that is very, very experienced, I think about 30 to 33 years old. He has been part of this setup, and he knows the expectations of being part of the Simbas.
Real battle here as Kenyans win the scrummage, so they get the penalty, but then there's a bit of physicality going on there between Kenya's shirt number 7. That is
yeah, the customary handbags there.
Okay, and Fernandez Correa, shirt 1 of Senegal.
You know, the most amazing thing about handbags is that the players know their limitations. Nothing goes beyond just the shove and the holding of the jersey. Anything other than that could be a yellow or a red card. So they know, as much as they use all their aggression to embrace themselves, they know where they have to stop.
Yeah, exactly. But now the interesting thing is, what language are they speaking?
That's a good one.
Because I don't think either of them understands what the other is saying. Because the others are speaking French and the others are speaking English. So what is going on there in terms of communication? Oh, is it that the tagging is what talks?
That's what talks. Sport is a universal language. And you can see there, yes, the
umpire having a word with the two.
the captains, and I think they're identifying.
Yeah, the captains are the ones that have been called on here.
You will leave the field.
Namboole. And he tells them that you do it again, you leave the field. And he tells that
It all goes up again.
the flanker, Ongera Okeyo, shots number 7 of Kenya.
Yeah, a bit of a last warning. Maybe he doesn't want to see any more of his shenanigans. And a penalty that was for Kenya has been reversed in that regard.
Disappointing, Kenya will fail.
Yeah,
because
sometimes
it was a penalty in a good position for them.
Yeah, sometimes those silly mistakes or those silly decisions we make can come back to cost us, and that is just exactly what has happened there.
And Ndiaye will be thankful. That's shot number 13 of Senegal. So give them an opportunity for the line out. Try and get a bit of territory on the Kenyans.
Changes.
Yeah, some changes coming back in. I think the yellow card is coming back. That is Odwor. And some other particular changes that we shall be bringing to you.
Making their way onto the pitch.
But isn't it at this time normally when the front row is changed?
Well, it depends on how much you trust your front row. But yes, around this time, normally there's a full swap of the front 3.
In 5.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that Odwor has been returned and the fresher Nyunguna Mwaura has returned to the bench.
Once!
But I guess the 10 minutes that he's rested, the coach will feel that he's regrouped and he's fresh again. Now Senegal come again, and that's Sila Lamin who got their most recent try of the game. And there's, I think there was a diving in, so it's a penalty to the Senegalese, and Bareda Ismail tries to gain territory. Kenyans put him under pressure to try and turn over the ball, and they pick it up. Yeah, good play by the Kenyans. Kick for territory there, coming in from shot number 12, of course, Walter. Can the Senegalese keep the ball in? Yes, they pick it, and then pressure coming in from the Kenyans as they try to win the ball here at the breakdown, but the Senegalese are resisting. The Kenyans pick it up. Bongongo, and the referee says it's ball to the Senegalese penalty, and then it seems to be
a lot's been going on there.
Diving in.
Started with, of course, Okoth having a very good kick there, putting pressure on the Senegalese. Senegalese trying to come back and try to gather the ball. They don't have enough support. Turnover to Kenya. Kenya not able to support their body weight, and it's a penalty to Senegal.
But very far, must say.
And another player is down.
2 actually.
Very, very physical game this is.
And of course, even the riggers of the hit, and instead the highest kick doesn't go out into touch to win them a line out in Kenyan territory, and Kenyans come again, and this is Obia scored a try in the first half as Kenya dominate the Rugby and get the ball well protected, and now it is their hooker on the ball, Sifuna Wesonga. They're continuing to build up here, but then the Senegalese turn it over. Can they win the ball at the breakdown? Yes, they do. They maintain it, and Scorea Fernandez, the loose head. Kenyans will need a bit of bodies to try and bring him down. That shot number 1 of the Senegalese side. He a very strong man he is, and he is. Good pass there by Korea to find shot number 20, Lom Abdul. And there is a knock-on by the Senegalese, so all to Kenya. Game will continue, advantage to Kenya. Kenya come again. Ashihundu making the run. Very good ball carry it is by the Kenyans here. Bongongo finds his hooker, Sifuna Wesonga. They're getting territory and they break the lines. And Bongongo, and the whistle goes. I guess it was an earlier infringement, so play will be brought back. There was a knock-on by the Kenyans instead. And Correa Fernandez of Senegal signaling to be removed.
Okay, he's fine, no, he's fine, thank you.
But the referee seems to be telling the water boys that he's fine. He'll be able to continue, but he seems to be signaling the bench to substitute him.
Well, it's something that the referee needs to get in order, just to clarify a couple of things.
Twice. He can't keep going down for he's tired. Okay, he needs to get up forward and off.
Exactly what we were talking about, that some of these players perhaps go down for every moment that they get fatigued, and that's what the referee is saying. He can't keep going down. If he is really injured, he needs to perhaps get off and get proper attention medical. But sometimes it is actually the player being in a position of getting actually hurt. So as a referee, there's that fine line of trying to find the balance between caution and welfare of the players, and also making sure that some of them are not just slowing down the game.
Well, he's back on his feet there, the big man Correa Fernandez, and like the referee pointed out, he wasn't injured, he was just tired. So it's going to be a scrummage here for the Senegalese, as there was a knock-on by the Kenyans. 29-17 the scoreline is. That's been clarified. Two-point game with about 9 minutes to go.
Effectively, I think Kenya, if they score one more try, or at least one more set of points, they will be able to seal this game off.
And I'm sure that that's what they are trying to work towards right now, with actually 35 minutes played in the second half. So we have about 5 to go.
The one thing that Kenya really needs to work on is their scrummaging. They have really considered a lot of penalties at scrum time in this one, and going forward, of course, in the semi-finals, if they are to make it, they know that they need to do better in that particular department.
Senegal's backroom staff not looking very happy, but rather apprehensive here, as another change is made, and in comes Alassane Sanya for Senegal, and it appears he's going to be replacing Kadim Cisse, shirt number 7. We'll wait and we'll confirm that shortly. The sun seems to have cooled a bit here.
Yeah, much needed shades.
Yeah,
you could say, for both the players and the fans at the far end.
And there's a cool breeze that is streaming through.
Yeah, definitely.
And we need that. Or actually the fans that are right there in the stands. Well, for us, would say that we're a bit privileged to be undercover.
Fortunate is the word.
And it is a line out for the Senegalese. And to throw it in is shot number 6, Kaba Cisse. They pick it up well, the Senegalese.
Advantage and a full penalty. Though another thing that Kenya has really been doing is conceding a lot of penalties. That will be one of the areas that Jerome Powerwater will want to address. Against the more lethal side,
they'll be punished.
You'll be punished.
And you remember that when they played Uganda in the Elgon Cup last year, that was one of their biggest undoings in the first leg.
Yeah, they were leading, especially here in the first leg at Kings Park Arena. They were leading until the last minute, but because of some penalties that were conceded, Liam Walker was able to slot that winning penalty. And from just a position of victory, they went on to lose the game.
Well, would you understand why those infringements are being committed by the Kenyans? Where is it that they're really struggling?
Sometimes it's impatience, sometimes it is fatigue, sometimes it is a bit of inexperience, and sometimes it is also the referee just being very stern with the team. So it's a combination of very many things, but yeah, Kenya is really in a position where they need to do something different.
And Cisse, the big man for Senegal, trying to beat off a couple bodies here, but doesn't go so far. Keeping the ball, and that's a good tackle by Kenya's shot number 8, and that is Misoga Jinson. Senegal trying to keep the ball moving here. Ndiaye, Mamadou, doesn't go far, held back by the Kenyans again. This time, Kenya doing a good job defensively, not allowing the Senegalese to gain much, but until this time, where there was a very good ball carry there coming in from Thion Insa of Senegal, shot number 23, as they try to find the gap. Ndiaye been one of the bright spots for this Senegal side this afternoon here. at the Rugby Africa Championship at the Mandela Stadium in Namboole. Senegal again, slowly but surely breaking the lines here. Good tackle coming in from Kenya, not allowing Senegal to make much gain.
Yeah, the rush defense there by Kenya, making sure at any point when the Senegalese hold the ball that they are being tackled, because they are aware of them being bigger in size, so you don't let a man like that run onto you. You have to find them where they are.
No, green. 1.
Can you imagine what perhaps a score by Senegal here would do for these last moments of this game?
Well, definitely to put a lot of pressure to just bring them to within 7 points. And now there's a substitution made by Team Kenya as Odu Bwire is substituted, and in his place is the man that momentarily substituted him when he was sin bin. Juguna Waura returns, and there is the man Odu. He's taken off finally. Such bundles of experience that he carries, doesn't he? There's a new man for Senegal, Insa Fio, shot number 23. Let's look at the pressure. Kenyans trying to win the ball there at the breakdown. The line out. Well picked up by Kenyans. Although the Senegalese had seemed to steal in.
Kenyans trying to control the game a lot more, and now using the back line.
Yeah, I think they need that speed from the back line to try and run at the Senegalese.
Use it!
There's Barry Robinson, picks it up.
No!
Now they seem to have changed roles with the man there on Somo Bongongo, the scrum half.
Onside.
There's young Barry, kicks for territory. The kind of kick that you think will put a bit of pressure on the Senegalese. Very good play by Senegal shot number 15, Saibu Sako.
Yeah, very lovely dummy there.
Onside.
One for the fans.
Bit of miscommunication by the Senegalese there. Almost all were ball watching there, wondering who the ball was intended for.
Yeah, a bit of miscommunication there.
Pio.
And another beautiful turnover by the Kenyans. It's one of the departments of this game that they have really been excelling at. They've been exceptional at the breakdown, the turnovers, and that is where they have hurt Senegal the most.
And it's a penalty to the Kenyans.
Yeah, I think they'll use this one to get some more touch, but just look at that. That's what they call selling the dummy.
Yeah, true.
Showing that you're going to kick and then you just move away. So I think they're going to go for the line out, try and get some extra meters here. And then from there, they can be able to effect the line out and maybe add some gloss to this scoreline.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Kenyans realize that the moments for the last play are approaching very fast, and therefore they need to make sure that they keep the ball in Senegal territory.
Yeah, the crowds are filling up, as you can see, awaiting the big one at the end of the day, but before that there's still another.
Still another one coming on right after this one, and that will be at 2 p.m. That is Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire. Kenya, ball in hand. Young Barry picks it up, held back by the Senegalese, pushed back as the Senegalese try to turn over the ball. The Kenyans have it again, shot number 12, this of course Walter. Some real big hits taking place right there. Really got to be firm. Good play there by Junguna, the prop. Good play by Kenya as they share the ball onto the far side. Finds the left wing, Ogeta Obia. It's pushed back by the Senegalese. Don't seem to be relenting on their defensive responsibilities here. Now Kenya, again shot 21 Obat Kuke. Finds his captain there. Now it is Walter, Okoth rather, gets it. Kenya gaining territory here again. Namboole Stadium, the captain, making sure that takes off a few seconds on the breakdown here, and Kenya breaking the lines again, and Ashish Hundu. Now Zadaka Gesa, they break the line and they're not going to miss here. You think the Kenyans, and yes, that's a try. Well completed by Ogeta. Will be a second try of the game. Wonderful and patient play coming in from the Kenyans. Ruben.
Yeah, you can just see their continuity from the play from about, you can say, 6 to 7 phases, moving the ball out wide and using the offload game. But that final one by shot number 20, offloading to Ogeta there. Just see the second line of attack, drawing in the men, the loose tackles, and then he's able to free his hands and give Ogeta, who dots down.
Well, that was a sense of high awareness coming in from Kenya's Mukamiti when he went down there, in realizing that right in his shadow was his teammate, and Adaka just didn't make a mistake there. Just look at that good play by Mukamiti Musonye, and he found Adaka.
That offload was by Elkins Musonye, one of those that is yet again experienced in this team, and showing what he can do, whether he's starting or whether he's coming off the bench.
And this time he came off the bench, and his experience has been critical in telling as the extras are well in place coming in, and that is the 2 extras for Kenya, which come at the point where the final whistle goes, with Kenya running out victorious here. 36-17 it has been. Your thoughts, Ruben, on this game of rugby that we've just been watching here at the Mandela National Stadium?
Yeah, not the best starts of the game from Kenya, but they were able to pick up and find their momentum, and they were able to get the necessary points. Senegal started strong, but they were unable to maintain their own momentum. Their handling skills were not the best. Their finishing is not the best, and there's a lot to work on for them. But the Kenyans, the Simbas, were really the better team.
Well, what positives do you feel that the Senegalese can take from this game?
They have some very, very impressive players. Mamadou Ndiaye was really, really good. Their physicality is one thing that they really have about them. They just need to work on how they can use it to fit into the style of rugby they want to play, because they're using it, but then they want to play very, very expansive and very loose with the offloads. Sometimes those 3 things cannot work together. So how can they use the physicality to work best for them, and then be able to get the results they want, especially since there is a very short turnaround time. Wednesday comes, there are placement games for them now, since they are not in the main part of it.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. As of course Senegal running out with a defeat, that means that they're now going to be working on making sure that they can finish in a more impressive position than finishing last, which would mean that they'll be relegated. Man of the match right there being interviewed is Sifuna of Team Kenya, the hooker. Interesting choice. Your thoughts on that one, Ruben?
Set pieces have been good. I think he scored a try which was also very influential, but just the fact that him along with the other forwards have been able to just burrow in and phase after phase after phase, tiring out the Senegalese was such an exceptional thing to watch.
Well, Kenya will return on Wednesday, and they will be meeting the winner between Cote d'Ivoire and Algeria as they win 36-17. We'll hand you over to the studio for the full-time analysis as we build up to Cote d'Ivoire and Algeria at the top of the hour.
If I can do some other work, but I'm up and down. I want cuts things also.
Checking 1 2, checking. Checking 1 2, checking. Checking 1 2, checking.
That was a good game.
Let's go.
one in Nairobi. So our focus was on Senegal, and now Senegal down. Now we shift the Senegal to now focus to the next game, of which is quarterfinal, the final. Yeah.
All right. There were moments in there that it looked like Senegal had every answer to the questions that you were asking them. Does that put some sort of doubt in your head about what you can do in this tournament?
Going into this game, we had a plan, and we had a plan for both first and second half. That's why you see first half was quite difficult. Second half, we knew there